Okay, so today we're making minestrone soup. Minestrone. Minestrone. What sounds douchier, minestrone or minestrone?
Ooh, both pretty douchey.
It is the classic Italian-American version that my mom made growing up, but with a little caveat today that I want to see if I can get away with using almost nothing fresh. So we're going to use almost entirely frozen vegetables. We're going to have one of those celeries that I left on the counter by mistake, so it's a little rubbery. Celery should not probably do that. Like, that shouldn't happen. But there's a couple things that, if you can, are worth it. If you can find fresh leeks. Fresh leeks will make your soup better. 2 cloves of garlic, a potato, about 2 cans of beans. Usually I'll use like a kidney bean and a cannellini bean, little red and white action. But because we did an episode on the show where we made 4 billion pounds of pinto beans, I'm going to use pinto bean instead. So I find the 2 cans ends up being about 3.5 cups. So if you got fresh ones you made, amazing. I happen to have, because we did a chicken stock episode on the show, from the old refrigerator, so I got some real chicken stock. So you cut that half and half with water. If you use all chicken stock, it'd be a little too rich. A can of whole peeled tomatoes. I'm going to go full freezer aisle. The most important one is frozen peas. Frozen peas, to me, are the key to a great minestrone. Peas, when you eat them and they cook for a long time in soup, they kind of pop in your mouth, and it gives a very pleasing texture. But then I was kind of just wandering through the freezer section, and I got one of those weird medleys. Carrots, yellow squash, green squash, bell peppers for some reason. If you've got a Parmesan rind lying around, I keep them in my freezer when I finish a block of Parmesan cheese. That is another big key to this. I got some frozen lima beans. I got some chopped spinach. But just, whatever sounds good to you in a minestrone soup, or just whatever you got laying around. I think corn might be weird, like a fire roasted, but it could be delicious. So we got this on like a medium low, 2 tablespoons of butter, and equal parts of olive oil. So it's half butter, half olive oil. This is gonna be the base of your minestrone. You gotta get your leeks undirtied. So what I like to do, kind of cut them lengthwise into like, it looks like a weird broom. Down the middle, once down the middle again, the other middle. And then just take some water and just kind of give it a little shaker. And now your dirt's gone. Not really. And we're just using the white and light green portions of this. Save your leek tops. They're great in like a pot of beans or a chicken stock. Did you know that one of the essential rules of cooking is that anytime you start sautéing butter or olive oil and like garlic or leeks, somebody in the world has to come in, even if it's like your neighbor through the window has to pop their head in and go, something smells good in here. Something smells good in here. And a couple of leeks. And this is going to be like one of the primary driving flavor agents of this soup. Also, an important step is you always want to be seasoning at every layer of this. So salt and pepper pretty much every time you add an ingredient. Then just a couple of garlic cloves. Get nice and rough chop with these. All right, so now garlic goes in. If you cook the leeks and garlic too quickly, at too high of a heat, they start to caramelize. You don't get that like slow building layering of flavor. And in something like this, that's actually kind of what you really want. 1 small russet. And we're just doing this into like a bite-sized dice. Bite-size is really not that helpful of a size. Bite-size, like if it's an apple, that's like a huge chunk. I want like essentially a medium dice. You keep wanting to go like grab, and then you remember a bench scraper really gets the old job done. Salt and pepper. So we're just gonna just chop these through. Salt and pepper. I'm going to use an entire bag of peas because I think the peas are great. Let's put a little bit of this frozen spinach in, some of these lima beans, this vegetable medley. I never put bell peppers in this before. I generally am an a la carte frozen vegetable person. You want to know what you got, but we're going rogue today. And now you can start turning it up a little bit. I think it's going to be about 1 can's worth of beans. This is the whole game, folks. How much can I fit in this pot And why am I fighting so hard to have it filled to the top so that I can then be fighting to finish it before it goes bad? That's why they pay therapists the big bucks, folks. So the other part of this minestrone soup, it cooks way longer than you think it should. And some of you are saying, hey, aren't you killing all the nutrients? And to which I say, hey, I'm eating a giant pot of vegetables. But this is almost going to be like a vegetable bolognese. It's not a brothy soup. It's a thick, hearty vegetable stew. Well, here, if you're using like a box of chicken broth or chicken stock, pour in the box and then fill the box with water and then pour it in. So I'm just going to kind of do the same thing here. See that nice gelatinousness? About equal parts water. Throw in your Parmesan rind. The trick is to this soup is you cook it until it seems like it's done, and then you cook it for like another hour to an hour and a half. All right, so the soup is now at a simmer, and now we add a can of whole peeled tomatoes, which we crushed by hand. And this just gives you a little extra acidity, a little bit of sweetness. Cover it, drop it down to a lower simmer, and we'll just let this go for a couple hours, and then we'll check on it. Let's take a gander, shall we? Yellow squash, when it cooks, it gets very kind of thick, and it kind of adds a little body to it. I mean, that's great. That little bit of butter and Parmesan rind gives it a little extra sumptuousness. Is that a word that applies to this? I don't think I know what sumptuous actually means. Boil the amount of pasta you want to eat right now. Don't cook a bunch and then put it away. You want to cook the amount you want to eat, and you're going to finish it in a pan with your stuff, or you can just ladle the soup over it if you want to, that's fine. But I'm going to do it this way. So take this, get the ratio you want, going to give it a quick blast on the stove. And this is just to let that kind of starchiness of the pasta combine with the soup. It's now together. Pour it right in here. Then little decadent teaser, little olive oil. I happen to have chiffonaded some basil for an earlier episode. Eliza, how do you say minestrone?
Minestrone.
Minestrone. What do I eat it? Yeah, look, you could do it with fresh farmers market vegetables, and it's great. It is obviously better. But using all weirdo mixed frozen medley ingredients, you can use cans of beans, frozen vegetables. You can use a boxed chicken broth, and it still comes out real damn delicious. Dear, would you like a bite of minestrone soup? She doesn't.
That looks really good.
This has got all the stuff. It's got Parmesan cheese.
What's this pasta called? Bucatini?
It's like a ditalini.
Not for a Britney Spears song. You want a ditalini? Wear a bikini? You better work, bitch.
Linda Cardellini.
Linda Cardellini. A film by Fellini. A Darmentini Chini.
Click here to watch a Fellini film. That's it. If you're Linda Cardellini, let me know.